We've got Mark Davies, the CEO of Spacecube. This business I've visited today. It's just amazing. And Mark, tell us a little bit, how on earth did you get into this business? Because people would have seen you at the Melbourne Cup and they would have seen you at places like the Grand Prix motor racing with all those big cubes for accommodation. But they didn't happen last year. So tell me a little bit about what happened to this business. Where did you go? How did you pivot?
Well, firstly, thanks for coming down and having a look around. I think we've been really well known in the events industry, particularly over the last 2 or 3 years. We've grown dramatically in the events. But obviously, when COVID hit, we saw within 6 hours our entire book of work in events disappear. So we knew we had to pivot pretty quickly, and we knew we had to stay relevant. I think the key part of that is being positive and looking for where is there a need, and that's being solution focused. And it's not about trying to think necessarily about your business. How can you solve people's problems? So we ended up doing hospitals, we ended up doing outdoor dining, we've done a range of them now into property display suites as the property market starts to boom. So it's more about looking at how does our product, what's our core values, what do we have, and how do we become someone who solves problems.
Now Mark, take you back to the comment you made there about you set up a hospital and basically in 24 hours when COVID came along. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had a brief to try and build additional medical facilities down at Monash Monash Hospital in Clayton. We were agreed to the terms on Tuesday night that we could build a hospital, and by Saturday morning at 6:30 we started, and we finished at 11 o'clock that night. So in a space of about 15 hours, we built 360 square metre, 2-storey hospital. And then over the coming days after that, the fit-out team went in there and ran oxygen and gas and the like.
Just for the team listening to this, that hospital effectively had all of the facilities, including all the staff amenities that worked in that period of time as well.
Now, it was really important to us that the people working in there actually could have a moment of respite. We knew this pandemic was coming, it was going to be very serious, it was a big challenge. We had to actually think about how are the people on the front line, how are we treating them to ensure they could just have 5 minutes to have a cup of tea and regroup. And so the level of that fit out is extraordinary, and that's still there today. So that's almost 12 months, it's still there today, it's still in use, and in a few months' time, hopefully this pandemic's behind us, we're going to pick it up and move it, and it'll be reused. And that's also really important. We've got a sustainable model. It isn't just something that was built to be used for a pandemic and thrown away. It's now going to be reused for a better purpose.
Everything you do is around a Spacecube, and now you're using that exactly the same thought to actually pivot towards housing.
The whole idea and concept comes from everything that we've learned, predominantly from events, which is how do we fast? We're in, we're out. How do the little event fairies come in at night? No one even knows we were there, but you walk up in the morning and it's finished.
It's finished, yes.
And we do all that in the warehouse, we prepare it in the warehouse. But the other component is how do we keep adding to it? And if we need to, how do we pick it up and move it?
So the first one you've got there, I've seen out the back, nearly finished in its construction, looks really classy. And it's off to Tasmania. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so in 10 days, that will hop on a boat and head down to Tassie, to northwest Tasmania, to a really remote location. It'll be used for a TV commercial for a brand. It's really exciting where that's heading. And I think the fact that you've got a house that can be picked up and put on a boat and sent to Tassie, and then installed within a matter of days, I think shows you more about where this market's heading and how we can actually be innovative in the way we go about construction. The idea of having hundreds of people on a site in weather elements is traditional form, and I think we're looking at a bit of an evolution, or maybe it's a revolution, about how modular construction is going to start to really come to the fore in the future years.
Now, we caught up with some of your team out here. They were very pleased you pivoted from, one day we've got a problem with COVID and all our events are finished, to now we're doing some pretty exciting things around building hospitals and houses and the likes. How have they stayed engaged?
One of the things that we've always been highly committed to was keeping our team, and I think what the important part of that is positivity. It's not my job or any one of the other directors' job to walk in with the problems. It's our job to think about what are the opportunities and share those opportunities. Have the team more involved. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And actually share some of those concepts. When you're coming up with those ideas and you're coming up with the R&D and development within the team, they harness that energy too, and that makes them more positive. And it becomes pretty infectious.
You could certainly sense that out there. They were very proud of what they were doing and delighted that the business had pivoted so well. Mark, we've had an amazing tour out here and having a look at Spacecube. A big thank you to you, but also your team. They were very generous with us. I wish you all the very best, and we're delighted as NAB to be supporting it. All the very best with it, and I look forward to seeing you flourish.
Thank you, Ross, and thanks to National Australia Bank. It's really been fantastic, and the interest you've taken in the business and the bank in our business is really heartwarming, and thank you.
Good on you. All the very best.